Hi again, friends, and welcome to another edition of the Crusader Corner here on the Belmont Abbey Sports Network, voice of the Crusaders, Jeffrey Childs, and another episode of our season previews this season, and we're pleased to be joined by acro and tumbling head coach Emily Powers. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
This is a new season for the acro tumbling program, still a very young program on campus. When you look back at the successes, the failures of 2021, what comes to mind?
I would say 2021 was just hard in general because of COVID protocols. We were in practice and we would only have like 5 ladies around each other at a time just because we were getting tested twice a week. And if anything were to happen, it would knock out our whole team just because of the nature of the sport, us being around each other all the time. You're in close contact with everyone. So we tailored our practices where you would only be around like 5 other ladies at a time so that if something were to happen, the whole team didn't go down with it. That was difficult just because of our team culture struggled because we weren't able to team bond and to really grow that culture and build that trust within your teammates. So when they would come and compete, it was like, okay, well, this is the first time I'm even standing next to, this senior on the team. That was be the first time that they were near them, except for seeing each other in passing during practice. So it was the culture struggle. That was the main struggle of last season.
Now, Belmont Abbey fans, they may be new to acro and tumbling. They may not be new. They may know that it's a combination, gymnastics, cheerleading, a lot of different athletic abilities. For those new to the sport, kind of run through and describe it for the Crusader fans.
Yeah, I always describe it as a mix between gymnastics and competitive cheerleading and also acrobatic gymnastics. So it's moved more away from the cheerleading style stunning into the acrobatic gymnastics style stunning. So the tumbling that you see is similar to what you see in a floor event for gymnastics. But all the stunning aspects when we're throwing each other in the air, doing all of those skills, that comes from acrobatic gymnastics. So if you go and watch any kind of acrobatic gymnastic skills, you'll see, they're also holding people upside down on their hands or, throwing them in the air. They're doing flips and they're catching them. So it's really a combination of all those different disciplines of gymnastics all put in to one.
And you were a student athlete at King, am I right there? King, and then you come here to Belmont Abbey from West Liberty. How do you build a program from scratch, and what have you sold prospective student athletes on about Belmont Abbey, about the academics, about the acro, about the spiritual formation?
Yeah, so again, acrobatics and tumbling is a little bit different because it's not offered very often below the college level. It's kind of started at the college level and is trickling down. So finding those athletes, we have to go to the artistic gymnasts, we have to go to the competitive cheerleaders, the trampoline and tumblers, all those different disciplines of gymnastics, and sell them first on the sport. That was the hardest thing, is just telling them, hey, yes, this is a sport that you can compete in. I know you've never thrown anyone in the air. I know you've never been thrown in the air, but we're going to teach you all that once you get here. So just selling them on the fact that their skill set that they've been doing so far is going to help them transition into the sport very easily. Then Belmont Abbey makes it really easy to recruit here just because the community is amazing. Our professors are amazing. They get that one-on-one attention with the professors. We have so many different degree options. And then you take into account the location that we're in. It's a small town right next to a large city. And I mean, who doesn't want to go to school in a place like that, Well,
a lot of coaches mention that similar thing. I think that factors into a lot of Belmont Abbey coaches' recruiting pitches. Want to rewind back to last season and really the first full season of the program. And of course, it was all in the midst of COVID. You had a new program. You had those challenges. I can't even imagine how difficult that was for you. You guys finished 1-5, although you had a couple of meets postponed or canceled. What lessons did you take away from the 2021 season?
Really to just be thankful to be competing, because when 2022, when we only did 2 meets and then we were shut down, everyone left campus. So going into the 2021 season, we knew that we were playing very experienced teams. We played the same teams over and over again that season just to get enough competitions in, just to give them an experience of competing. And that taught us a lot to just, doesn't matter who you're playing, just be thankful that we got there on meet day, that we can compete, that we can have a full season. And that was really the takeaway from last season.
Well, I mentioned to the Belmont Abbey fans about your background. You were a student athlete at King, and then you've done some coaching here prior to the Abbey. How did you kind of fill in your athletic background? Did you play any other sports besides acro and tumbling, and how did that inform your desire to coach?
Yeah, so growing up, my dad's a football coach. So grandpa's a football coach. I mean, it goes like back and back. It's all with football, which I'm not coaching that or have any experience in football. But growing up, it was always, I did competitive cheerleading through high school because, again, acro and tumbling wasn't a thing in the high school level yet. So I did competitive cheer, and then I would walk over to the football field, watch my dad wrap up practice, and go to games every Friday night, and then see him watch film all day Saturday and go and lay out the plan on Sunday. So I just grew up in that environment of knowing what all goes into coaching, like all the different aspects, because I would see it happening at home all the time, which really sparked my interest in coaching. And then going into college, I was like, oh, well, I want to be a cheer coach because that's all I've ever done in my life. And then I was introduced to acro and tumbling, and I was like, okay, there's no way I can do anything but acro and tumbling, just because of the aspects of it, of the team aspect of it, a lot of technique goes into it, and it's just completely different from anything that I'd ever done. I just completely fell in love with the sport, and I was like, okay, this is it. This is what I'm going to do.
Exactly, the kind of coach with that passion that we always want here at Belmont Abbey. But this is a landmark season for the acro and tumbling program, and that in the NCATA, basically the equivalent of the NCAA for acro and tumbling, you guys earn your first ever preseason ranking inside the top 15. Tell me about the day that you found out, and how did you break that news to the team?
Yeah, I was really excited when I found out. Number one, they sent an email just letting everyone know this is where everyone lined up. And I had a feeling, I was like, I just feel like we're in that top 15. And I was like, but that's my opinion. I'm always a little bit biased towards us. So I know we're in that top 15, but I was like, I don't know where the other coaches in the country would put us. And so us coming in at that number 13 slot, I was like, okay, yeah, we are in that top 15. It's not just me thinking it, other people are thinking it too. And we were actually all downstairs having a team meeting when I got the news. So we were all together anyway. So it was fun to break the news to them, like as soon as it came out, and they were all super excited because it's first time in program history. It feels like your hard work is paying off and you're being recognized for that. And it felt really nice just because our conference is so strong. There's 4 of us that are nationally ranked, and in previous years it was just the other 3, and we weren't in that ranking yet. So it also just gave us the confidence that, hey, you can compete nationally. You can also compete in your conference.
You have a trio, really a quartet of kind of your top student athletes in the program this year. One of those is a tumbler, Desi Yordanova, a senior. What is a tumbler for the viewers, and what role does she play in everything, and why is Desi at the level she's at?
Yeah, so a tumbler is when you see us doing all the flips across the floor, right? So that's what tumbling is. It's just one person. It's the only thing that we do in our sport that's just solo. That is just you out there tumbling. Yeah, you might be synchronized with someone else, but at the end of the day, you're in charge of your own pass. It has no influence from anybody else except for yourself. Desi's a phenomenal tumbler. Her story is actually kind of funny to me because when she came to campus for the first time, she was actually on crutches. And so I had asked her, I was like, do you want to go on the campus tour, like the full campus tour? You want to do like a modified one? Because I know you're on crutches. And she was like, no, let's do the whole tour. And so she did the whole tour on crutches. And I was like, okay. I was like, I know what this girl's capable of, but I didn't know the mental aspect of it and how strong she was, and just wanting to work hard. Like, she never gives up. And that's honestly what makes her so different in the tumbling aspect, is that she's working all the time. She's working when she's at home. She's working when she's here. She's working in the weight room. And that's what really sets her apart.
Another one of those players on the team this year is Lauren Pipes, and she's a part of the pyramid. Anybody who's watched cheerleading probably has an idea what that is, but again, kind of dive deep into her role, everything she does as part of the pyramid routine.
Yeah, so she does all 3 pyramid heats for us as a top. So a top is the very top of the pyramid. For viewers, the pyramid is 3 different levels. So there's the bottom level. So there'll be 2 girls standing, and then there's another girl standing on her thighs, and then another girl on top of her doing a handstand or being, pushed up to the highest level. So that's kind of what a pyramid is. Piper does all of those topping positions. Piper was one that came in with some of that acrobatic experience. You'll never see her compete in our tumbling event. You'll never see her tumble during team event, but she is very strong at being a top. And she has beautiful lines, and that's something with acro and tumbling, the technique aspect of it. You want them to have that beautiful form, and so when she does a handstand on top of somebody, it's the form is there. It's not just that she's doing a handstand, she's doing it the right way where she can hold it for however long. And so she really excels at being a top for us.
And we're still just brand new getting into the 2022 season. I'm sure you've got a lot on your plate, but you guys got your first win over Coker a couple of days ago. How did that come about?
Yeah, so we knew going into the meet on Saturday against Coker that it was going to be a close meet. We have watched them grow as a program as we've grown as a program, and just watching both of our first meets, I can remember calculating the scores like from heat to heat, and I think I was like, okay, we'll go into tumbling event with a 0.2 higher than theirs if the judges score exactly how they did for our first meet and exactly how they did for their first meet. So we knew going into that meet, and the ladies knew, we're going to be down come halftime. We're going to be down after the toss event. We knew our strengths are tumbling and team event, which is also kind of my coaching style, because those 2 events, they amount to the most amount in a meet. So tumbling event is worth 60 points total. Team events worth 110 points total, which are higher than any other events throughout the meet. So you got to be strong in those too if you're going to be strong in any of them, right? So that was our mentality going in, and we knew that. And so the ladies, you can go back and watch a live stream of us on the sidelines. Their mood changes when we get to tumbling. And tumbling is just something that they enjoy. It's something that they know that they excel at, that they're good at, that they can beat other teams in. So that's when we really started to kick it into high gear. And that's when we started to take the lead. And then going into team event, we were just like, our mentality was, all right, let's just go out there and have fun. We know we hit this team event every day in practice. We know we can do these skills. So now let's just go out there, have fun, show the officials what we've been working on. And from then on out, it's in their hands. We'll see if we come out on top, and we did. And that was amazing for our program to have that experience. First time we've had like a close meet experience. So I was nervous on how the athletes were going to react to that pressure situation. And they handled it completely maturely for half the team being freshmen. They handled it like they've been seniors this whole time.
I love to hear it. That's wonderful news. Congratulations on your first victory of the season. Hopefully one of many more to come.
Yes, thank you.
All right, acro and tumbling head coach Emily Powers is our guest this week on the Crusader Corner. Again, you can find all those episodes on youtube.com/Abbey Athletics and search for Crusader Corner. For everyone here at Belmont Abbey College, my name is Jeffrey Chavez, voice of the Crusaders. We'll see you next week on the Crusader Corner on the Belmont Abbey Sports Network.